Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I would say this is probably the most difficult video I've ever had to film, mainly because it's talking about a subject that is not only something I'm pretty passionate about, but also something that's just been very relevant in my life lately. So this whole video is going to be just my thoughts on cancel culture or call out culture or public shaming, cyberbullying, all these things that, I never really would have had a personal experience with. Too much of that. Definitely I've had, negative comments and people being mean, but not to the extent where it's actually affected me and like my mental state like I have now. Before I get started though, I'm really not looking for a he said, she said argument. I'm not looking for people to take sides. In fact, like you'll see in this video, I take full responsibility for any missteps that we've made. But what I'm really looking for is just to set the record straight so everybody knows like what actually did happen, because there's some like crazy things that I've heard. And I'm also just looking to shed light on the internet culture and just how I've been feeling about it lately. It's a situation that I definitely could have just moved on from. In fact, like I think less than 1% of my followers even know what happened. And I could totally just move on and like not address it and just keep on growing my business and keep on doing what I do. But I'm bringing it to light because I just feel like it's something that's really harmful and it needs to be addressed. And so I'm not looking for more drama. I'm not looking for like he said, she said, like that's not what I'm looking for. I just want to tell like my story so that people can maybe glean from this and understand and learn from this whole experience how they can be better, like I'm learning how I can be better as well. So here we go. So before I go into the story of what happened, I think there's something you really need to understand about my brand. I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years. I talk a lot about my faith, lifestyle, things I wish a sister taught me, personal experiences, my marriage, and then affordable clothes. I've always done that. I think my first video I ever filmed was like a dress that I found, a For Love and Lemons dress I found at TJ Maxx. So for this first outfit, this is more dressy, obviously. One of my favorite things to do is to walk into a really nice store, but I usually just walk straight to the sale section because I am on a college girl budget. I just always loved sales and good deals because that's kind of how I grew up. So 2019 was really excited to relaunch a boutique that I started when I was 19 years old. It was called Keely D Accessories. And I used to keep all the bracelets underneath my bed and like ship them out with like handwritten receipts. And so I like revisited some of the social media accounts and like websites. And so I told my followers, I was like, I really want to relaunch this boutique. So I talked to my dad. He has a showroom at the Dallas Market Center. And for those of you that don't know what the Dallas Market Center is, it's where buyers from different boutiques or, online retailers or retailers like Nordstrom, Neiman's, all go, and it's a couple of times a year, and they go and purchase all of the products for their retail or for their store or for the boutique. And so my dad has a showroom there, but he does like Missy clothing lines. But I asked him to connect me with some showrooms that had like affordable accessories, affordable handbags for my girls. And my brand, I try to talk about things that are like under $100, under $50. My girls probably shop at like American Eagle, Zara, Nordstrom is probably like the more high end. And then, sometimes I'll go into like the more expensive things, but for the most part, try to keep it all affordable. I found this one showroom that we really wanted to work with. They looked like they had really cute things. And I asked the sales rep, what are your 10 most popular bags that are affordable and that you think my girls will like? So she showed me, and they had these like cute little studs all over the bags. Now, I thought they were so cute. I had sandals from BCBG that had studs on them. I had some from like Target. I had some from Jessica Simpson. So because like I never even in my mind thought, oh, these look way too much like another designer. I think because I trusted the credibility of like the showroom and like the fact that I've seen these bags carried at so many boutiques, it didn't even cross my mind. Now, I am not saying that I was right. I will go back into this in a minute. I think we bought like a total of 40 or 50 bags, which is really not much. We kept them all in my garage. Less than 24 hours after we launched, my phone was blowing up, like going crazy. I was also out of town, and I had learned that I was posted on an Instagram account called Diet Prada. They had like 1.2 million followers, and what this account does is they just call out designers copying other designers. And so mainly it's like designers that I honestly, some of them I've never even heard of, but you know, Prada, Gucci, things like that. So right off the bat, we started getting thousands of the meanest comments and DMs and messages, emails. I mean, when they infiltrate, they attack you from every single angle, like everything. They're like DMing my husband and my assistant, and it is just like growing out of control. And so you kind of start to freak out. I remember I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know what to say, because they had so many, like in terms of power, they had so much more power than I did. Like they had over 1 million followers, and they had, I mean, they were posting about like these really high-end designers, but then all of a sudden like I was in there, and I'm like, like I was like, this is crazy. Like why do I have an Instagram next to Kim Kardashian? Like being like, it was bizarre. And so immediately I freaked out. I went on my stories and I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry if we offended anybody with these bags. Like I'm trying to understand I'm trying to understand like their perspective, but because of all the hate I was getting, I couldn't even really see like what people were talking about, or like I literally cried in bed for like 2 days straight. It was horrible. It was like awful, because I think that at the time you're like, oh my gosh, like what did I do? Like did I really do something so bad like to deserve all of this? Like what did I do? I've messed up like so much, like everything is over. And meanest, like most hurtful messages ever, and like just demolishing like all the integrity that you've had in every single piece of content you've ever created, like demolishing all of that because of this. If I could go back and do things differently, I wish I would have done more research and seen like how similar these bags were to the designer bags. I wish I would have just been more educated about fast fashion overall. There are things I wish I would have done totally differently. I took full responsibility, and I have apologized not only to the designer, but the designer community, because I think that is what is right. Even though at the time I didn't know we were doing anything that wrong, I think that when people are hurt, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. Like you take responsibility for your actions. And we almost sold out of the bags, but we didn't ship out any of the bags. Like we did not fulfill any of the orders. We apologized to everyone that bought a bag and said, no, I'm sorry, we want to like be above reproach and not ship the bags out. I think the fast fashion conversation was something that we are not exposed to a lot in our environment. And I wish that Diet Prada would have come to me and maybe DM'd me or emailed me and said, hey, like we saw the bags that you launched. Like we want to have a conversation about why this is not okay. Or just believe that like if you have an issue with somebody, like there are ways to use your words to communicate and like educate me about what was wrong in the first place. Because I would have loved to listen. Like you could have just emailed me or sent me a DM and said like, let's get on a phone call. I would have loved to because honestly, if we would have had that conversation, I probably would have taken it down, because I would have understood a different point of view. But when I just come from the background that I come from, and like I'm just over here trying to take care of my girls that can't afford designer bags, and like I'm thinking about them and not your community, like there's gonna be a disconnect somewhere. And so that's where we can have conversations and use our words rather than like hatred or, you know, public shaming and cyberbullying to do that. I mean, you were making fun of my presets that I was selling, and you know that you're in a different space than I am. I mean, you're literally comparing people that have millions of followers, and then you blast me that only has like, I think at the time I had like 230,000 followers or something. Like that is a definition of bullying, like no matter how you spin it. And there's just ways that we can like honestly come to the same agreement and learn by just communicating. At the end of the day, like, I am not upset with Diet Prada. Like, I am not, like, I respect that they have a message that they are so passionate about. I just think that sometimes you might not understand how damaging and hurtful and just basically the hate culture that you guys are maybe inadvertently, or maybe you don't know that you are instigating or encouraging, because I have seen the way that like the Diet Prada followers attack people after you post about them, and it's really bad. Like, it's really hurtful and super harmful. Like, you have no idea what that could do to like somebody's mental health, especially like I know what it did to mine and how I've been the past couple of months, so I can't imagine everybody else how they're feeling. And I just think that if we want to make moves and we really want to spark change, or we really want, you know, any space to be healthier, the way we need to deal with conflict is not through cancel culture or public shaming. What also happens whenever we attack someone and we cancel them because of one mistake that they made, we really don't give them any opportunity to grow. I think that we can all agree that we are human and we make mistakes. It really doesn't matter if you are, you know, a celebrity or just the average Joe. It doesn't matter. We're all human and we all make mistakes. And I think that we all deserve an opportunity to progress. And when you cancel someone, you take away that opportunity for them. And, you know, actually, I think the best lessons learned are the ones that we take from our failures and our mistakes. And it's just really unfortunate whenever we take that opportunity away from people. So the moral of this story is I really wanted to encourage you guys to remember to treat people on the internet and even behind your screen, you know, respectfully. And everything that you say and you type, I just imagine being there in front of a person and like would I actually say that to their face. I think that that's something really important. Another important thing is to make sure that you have the facts. Like, guys, we are being fed so many stories that are not true and totally inaccurate. And before you just jump onto, you know, some accusation that someone makes, I think it's really important to get all the facts and do your own research. And then the third thing I just want to say is, like, there is really no reason we need to be negative or hateful on anybody. Like, we all make mistakes, and especially people that are putting themselves out there on the internet, like, that takes a lot of guts and it kind of puts your life under a microscope. And so I just think it's like, if we really want to enact any type of change in somebody else's behavior or viewpoints, I think the best way we can respectfully do that is just by using our words and communicating in a really respectful, nice way. So that's pretty much this video for you guys. I don't know, I am happy to kind of get this off my chest. I feel like as somebody that tries to be as transparent and real with y'all, it just didn't make sense just moving on and not addressing it with you guys. So as much as I tried to avoid it and I didn't want to film this or post it, I feel like this is kind of getting something off my chest. And yeah, so I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.